Yo! Welcome to Sistah Punk Studios. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe for more of my anime reviews, recommendations, and reactions. And be sure to check out my music and lifestyle vlogs too. I want to talk about an anime that was made by the creators of Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. This is a uniquely iconic and diverse staple for all anime lovers and especially Black women anime fans. Let us pay homage to one of the reigning Black queens in an anime set in the wild heart of Brazil. This is Michiko and Hatchin. I've already talked about the lack of Black and POC representation in anime in my last Black animation video. There are so few examples in this medium of realistically or even positively portrayed Black men and women, despite the globalization of anime over the past 20 years. So when this Cleopatra Jones-esque tall, foxy badass comes on screen in all of her Afro-Latina glory, I am shook. And let's get this straight. Michiko is Black, just as Black as me and all of the melanated women in this show. Being Afro-Latina is nothing new, even though some act like this is some new invented term. It just refers to the fact that Michiko can be as Black as she is and be a Latin woman, and both of those identities are valid, not separate. This only builds her importance in this new generation of the POC anime community. Michiko is aggressive and provocative, but she's also strong-minded, compassionate, and sensitive. She has a misunderstood desire to achieve a simple life for her child and find her baby daddy, Hiroshi. But we can see from her past that this is a life that she will always be denied. Michiko isn't perfect, but she wants to take responsibility for her own life. In a world that's already summed her up to be another stereotype or statistic. Race is undeniably important in this anime, especially when referring to Michiko and her daughter Hatchin, who is a noticeably white child in a mostly Black and brown Brazilian city, leaving us to believe that if she is Michiko's daughter, the father was probably some asshole white dude who whispered sweet nothings, knocked her up, and dipped. Nonetheless, motherhood is important to Michiko, as well as settling the relationship with her child's father. But when you're a rambunctious, wanted criminal who's Black as fuck toting a little white girl around on your motorcycle, it can be really hard to be discreet. But I give Hatchin some respect. She's a clever young girl who had to grow up quickly and is actually targeted because of her whiteness, to be used as a tool of desirability in a culture that clearly upholds racist, colorist, and classist values. Living in this corrupted country, Hatchin is exposed to physical abuse, child trafficking, drugs, and gang activity. But her mother, Michiko, is at the intersection of being Black, a woman, a mother, and an enemy to the law. But she also breaks a lot of the boundaries and stereotypes about her through her character development. Throughout this anime, we see her express a wide range of emotions. Conflicts with her friends that have turned enemies, a passionate love for her child, and a need to find an answer from the man that she loved. But even still, these themes are familiar in the rare representations of Black women in all media. Is Michiko just another violently obsessed Jezebel hoodlum baby mama? Or does something about her connect especially to Black women who watch anime? Well, I asked some of my other Black anime queens what makes Michiko so iconic. I have never seen an Afro-Latina represented in anime like that. When I first discovered that show, I ate that shit up, because it was the first time I saw someone who was like me in the anime world. I absolutely loved it. I feel like due to the negative image Black women get in media overall, that we're brutally hindered in how we are represented, either as victims or perps of violence, bad mothers, or we take the place as some spiritual guide. It's nice to see a sexually liberated, maternal badass that's a brown woman of color. Michiko is a beautifully designed character with a lot of outfits emulating the intended sexy diva. Her presence is humbling in anime, cartoons, etc., because you don't get to see Black women on an adventure. On the flip side, she's a dysfunctional vixen who will throw hands. That's not a new concept for black women. We just get a better payoff with her relationship with Hatchin. I love that Michiko is unapologetic about her emotions. She gets pissed, she cries, and she dotes on Hatchin. She was so human to me. Even though it was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, she was one of the few women of color in anime that wasn't reduced to being a walking caricature or stereotype. The story was about her growth. She was a star. What's so interesting and relatable is all of the dynamic relationships between all of the women in this show. Michiko and Hatchin are an odd pair, with their mother-daughter roles being reversed often. As Hatchin takes care of Michiko, who is constantly getting in trouble and can act more like the child out of the two. As much as Michiko loves Hatchin, she doesn't really know how to love her the way a mother would love a child. Growing up an orphan, she had to grow up quickly and rough around the edges. She doesn't treat Hatchin as a child sometimes. She treats her like another adult woman, companion, and partner, but they both strongly want to protect each other. Also, Michiko's estranged friendship with Atsuko is so freaking interesting. If there's anyone as bad as Michiko, it's the cop that's trying to catch her, Atsuko. But the secret is that they grew up together in the same orphanage, but then took very different paths. I had a fellow fan of this anime even speculate that Michiko and Atsuko may have had a queer romantic relationship. Now, I'm sure that Michiko and Atsuko aren't a stranger to queer culture, as well as the darker parts of the sex industry in their city. I do think that there are hints that their relationship may have been more serious and intimate before their lives split. But the standards of their society probably wouldn't allow that still, especially as black women. But Atsuko just wanted Michiko to be happy genuinely as a woman. Whether that meant turning her life around and them finally being together, or her moving out of the city with her child and finally getting over this guy. Even though Michiko can be really selfish, she craves intimacy and to protect and be protected by the ones that she loves. Atsuko probably gave that intimacy to her for a time before her baby daddy showed up. And Michiko finally found comfort in her relationship with her daughter Hatchin. Even though they've taken different roles in life, Michiko still wants to confide in her, and Atsuko still wants her childhood friend to find closure and move on with her life. But can Michiko ever really find that closure for her and her daughter? At times, it feels like her obsession with finding her lost lover distances her relationship with Hatchin, despite how close they've grown throughout their adventures. Michiko is a strong black woman, but she's also a human being with flaws, trying to find love in a corrupted world. Michiko undoubtedly wants the best for her daughter Hatchin, and her strength is a major influence on Hatchin's development and their mother-daughter bond that keeps their lives connected. I'm really glad that I was able to share this awesome anime, Michiko and Hatchin. Go check it out now and like and subscribe for more anime reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Bitch, start tripping, now I'm blue. Mega Man.